Peace. So the other thing that I wanted to talk briefly about is just the social engineering and how the whole indictment and the way that it was announced was money motivated. First of all, consider the amount of overtime that was paid to the government officials and the police force who are on the ground, that are still on the ground right now, because they waited to announce this indictment at nighttime. One of the things that I saw with the coverage as well is how certain government issued vehicles and police vehicles were strategically parked in places that happened to get vandalized. You know what I mean? Who do you think is going to replace that government property in those police vehicles? The people. You compound that with all of the overtime that is a running meter right now. And also how even though you had that large body of a police presence in Ferguson, how there were certain business communities that were deliberately neglected from any police presence, which actually encouraged people to vandalize those businesses as well as destroy some of that property. Those business owners are going to put in some insurance policies to get that replaced. And I think about those business owners that weren't really doing too well throughout the year. You think that they really was like, shoot. I mean, if it go up in flames, it go up in flames. It's been going up in flames all year anyway. So at least I could get something out of it. You think there wasn't some people thinking like that? Do you think that it wasn't some people that may have even paid people to set their businesses on fire? These are some things to consider. When you think about this even happening a few days before Black Friday, historically, Black Friday was designed in order for businesses to recoup the losses that they took financially throughout the year. So we're in the last quarter of the year economically. So Black Friday is the last time that businesses can really, get some business before the end of the year. So this is something that is not only happening in Ferguson, but it's happening throughout other communities and cities around the country where you're having protests and demonstrations and, people rioting and looting and vandalism and stuff going on. You have people that's getting overtime. You know what I mean? You have businesses that's going to be getting insurance, putting insurance claims in. You're going to have people who are taxpayers replacing these government vehicles and this government property. So, we got to keep that in mind. Some of the people that I've heard saying things like, well, if we protest and don't spend no money on Black Friday, that really ain't gonna do nothing. No, they just showed you that money does matter, because if it didn't matter, they wouldn't have set up this whole announcement of the indictment the way that they actually did. So keep that in mind. This is really an exercise in social engineering, and it's being used as a model for cities throughout the country that have similar demographics, and cities that they want to have similar demographics if they want to, have incidents like this going on in other places. So, money does matter, and we need to keep that in mind whenever we're watching things like this take place, that if you want to hit somebody, you really got to hit them in the pockets. So I will. This was inspiring. It was empowering. It was educating, and it encourages those of you who saw some of this footage and stuff that was going on. Go back and watch how Don Lemon was reporting things. Watch and see how you saw certain government vehicles and police vehicles strategically parked in certain places, and how certain businesses were allowed to be vandalized and looted. There's some businesses that were not boarded up on purpose. Like, if you knew what was getting ready to go down, why wouldn't you protect your interests? So that's just something to keep in mind. And like I said, I encourage those of you who, watch some of the footage or whatever, to go back and watch some of the footage, including that season's greetings banner that was constantly being shown, through the media coverage, So peace and have a beautiful day.